So here I shift my weight back. Notice that the back stays straight but not vertical. And this looks very much here in the next part here, the separating of the hands looks very similar to what we did before in the short form, but it's actually not the same. And the detail is small, but it is significant. That's one of the ways in which you can see if somebody understands the form or not. So I'll explain that later in detail. So you see a lot of repetition. And then now we go into Fair Lady Works at shuttle. So it looks like we're going to do the same thing, but now we do a different kind of movement. So this is a spiraling movement. That is the essence of this. We run back to the east again. So you see the form is very dynamic. Crossing the hands first and then putting the hand on the back of the saber the second time. This is to the corner, southeast. Again, small jump first, but it should be pretty big and dynamic later. Now we're going to face southwest. And now south. I'm stepping towards the west quickly and going southwest as I lower the saber. North, spinning around, stabbing towards the west, facing south, same spinning motion and stabbing to the west. I'm going to jump and drop down into my stance facing east. And now end up facing southeast. Once again, a small jump to get you started, but it should be more dynamic later on. But it's slightly different. Back to northwest, northeast, and then turn around to face the west. We do a 180 turn as we pivot, stepping back towards the west, and now we're going to stab 4 times. And we're always sliding up with the back foot. The point is, if you want to practice this style of Tai Chi the way that I'm teaching it, then I think it makes sense that you do it the way that I explain it. And I was just teaching a private training student one of our forms and explained this explicitly, is that you have to trust the method that I'm using. And you have to trust that because I know where you need to go, because I've been doing this for many decades, that I know at which stage, which specific things you should practice and how. Which doesn't mean that what you want to do or your interpretation is wrong per se. It usually means that unless I can train with you one-on-one, I cannot know at which stage you are. So instead what I've done is started teaching our style in a manner that builds everything from scratch, from the beginning. We start at zero as if you don't know anything. If you've already have some training, that's fine. But we start from the beginning so that anybody who joins this course with no prior knowledge or training starts the way they would start in my class or when I teach one-on-one. That is the goal. But if you skip steps in the process, which I've talked about before, then eventually you will run into trouble. Because again, I know what comes next. I just have to have the time and the and do all the work to put everything online. And we're talking about hundreds of hours of videos that I eventually have to make. So it's a lot of work, but I'm continuing to do it. However, in the meantime, follow the instructions. Is that when you practice this breathing, count the number of seconds you need to fully breathe in, and the same thing for exhaling. Bit by bit, you should be able to inhale and exhale a little bit longer if you practice regularly. The point is that as you're doing that, you want to learn how to completely fill your lungs, not just up high in the chest, which is what most people do, chest breathing, but also expanding lower and working with abdominal breathing to expand, figuratively speaking, downward into your lungs, breathing down into your lungs instead of up high. And that is just the first part. Then you have to try